That wind is out there howling. I was just sitting here pondering about how, goodness grief, um, that wind is fierce. Anyways, I was sitting here just pondering about the old stories that you heard about the kingdom and you got the king, you got the queen, you got the prince, you got the princess. Sometimes, depending on who their kids was, or and it always comes to a point where the prince or the princess gets beside themselves. And what I mean when I say they get beside themselves, it means they get too big for their own shoes. And eventually they try to overthrow the kingdom. And it seems like, I don't know, I'm just in a phase where that's where my interest is at right now. And it seems that it seems that the more and more I read these stories, it's the same thing keeps happening. The same thing happens. I mean, they always took the king or the queen's kindness for weakness. And sometimes the king and the queen, they'll tell the person that's overthrown or trying to overthrow the king and the kingdom how much shame gonna come, how much the people not gonna respect them, how much it'll never be what it was. And it surprises me that every story that I read like this is the same. And it has to be, the difference has to be a level of maturity. Because when you're mature, understand that something has to be originated and you don't respect the originator, then eventually you just become a sloppy copy. I have to use that sloppy copy. So you end up shaming everything that came before you, or even worse, just yourself. And I can't remember what TV show it was where they're talking about this, and the daddy tells the son, he's like, "You're not fit to be a ruler, so I'm gonna give it to Buddy." And he like, "What? You would shame me in that way? You would do me in that way?" And when I was younger, I used to think like, why would you give your kingdom away? You got your son and he not perfect, but he he's still your son, right? Like, you know? And now that I'm older, I'm just realizing that he would rather end his whole he would rather end his era with moral or integrity, with morals and integrity. And he would always end his era. He would rather end his era with, he basically would rather go out strong and go ahead and give it up to the next ruler and keep the honor going than give it to his son who can't handle it and it becomes a burden. So I say this to say, don't give away your kingdom to someone who isn't worthy, because what you end up doing is them a disservice, and you end up basically, instead of it being a blessing, it becomes a burden. And when you're young, you still have your strength and you still have your energy. So you think that you're gonna be running around like this your entire life. But when you're older, you realize that it's only but so much that you can do. And it's better to end strong and give it to the next than to dishonor everything that you've built. So just think about that. Just think about that for a second. Because it seems like nowadays people are trading in their morals and trading in their integrity for nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean, like, when you think about it, money is really nothing. If everybody had money and everybody was rich, then money would mean nothing. So I get why some people have to be poor, and I get why some people have to be rich. And I get the hypocrisy when poor people say that the wealthy should give to the rich, and I get the hypocrisy when people say that the poor need to basically get their money up, because if either one are on the same foot, they will want two different things. They will want opposite of what they are. So it's just the kingdom thing has just been on my mind lately, and it's just important to not give away what's the most valuable things inside of yourself for nothing, because the most valuable things is the things that you can't even buy with money. So don't make that the head of why you do what you do, because you'll end up broke. And not only will you end up broke, but you'll end up broken. So in this world where everything is so monetary, let's get this money, let's get this money, let's get this money, let's get this money, like, don't lose yourself in that. Because a lot of people that's on that type of time where that's all they think about, they are very broken people. And just honor your kingdom. Because even if you don't think that it's a kingdom or queendom, whatever may have you, somebody want that kingdom. Somebody want what you got. You can have no dollars, and somebody's still gonna want what you got. So just make sure that you understand what's valuable, and make sure that you understand what's not valuable. And if you start there, and you start with yourself, and you really make a list of what's valuable in yourself and what's not valuable in yourself, I promise you, you'll get 10 times further than the person who has all the money in the world. Thank you. Love you all. Good night. Mm, I'm all right. You all right?